Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Onyekachi Ayewoma, and I'm delighted to be your facilitator for today's webinar. Today, as we mark World Health Day, we are reminded of the critical role the land plays in sustaining life and the people who care for it every day. Our conversation today is themed Her Story from the Land, Women Farmers Driving Climate Resilience. It is anchored in Heifer International's global campaign with the theme, She Has a Story to Tell. Are you listening? Across Africa, women produce up to 80% of the food we eat. They are deeply connected to the land, nurturing it, adapting to it, and sustaining our food systems. And yet, their voices are often missing from the decisions that shape agriculture, climate action, and investment. Today is about changing that by listening, by learning, and by recognizing women farmers as leaders, innovators, and climate actors. To formally set the stage, I'll now invite our country director for Heifer Rwanda, Verena Ruzibuka, to deliver the opening remarks. You are welcome, Verena.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kachi, for setting this stage very well. I just want to build on what you just said and give a quick reflection. As you have already pointed out, something very important that we are marking today is marking the Earth Day. And alongside that is the International Year of Women Farmer. And I agree, bringing those two together is quite powerful. Because we talk about a healthy planet and the future of the food systems, we are all talking about asking people who are working on the land every day. And across Africa, that is largely women, as we all know. Now, we often describe women farmers in terms of their need, support, access, and inclusion. But the reality is that they're already doing the work for adapting with the climate and the challenges they're facing, adjusting to the changing seasons, managing resources, finding ways of keeping production going under so much pressure. So maybe the question for us today is not just on how to do or how to support women farmers, but how well are we actually listening to them? Because their experience is not theoretical. It's very practical, it's tested, and has a lot to teach us about what the climate resilience really looks like on the ground. And that's why conversations like these matter. It gives us a chance to move beyond the general statements and hear directly from women farmers, not as beneficiaries this time, but as the people who are actually shaping how farming systems respond to climate change. And I think this is where we need a bit to be more intentional. If women are already at the center of our farming systems, they're already adapting and responding to these changes. They should also be at the center of how we design solutions, how we invest, and how we make decisions, not occasionally, but consistently throughout our work. Because when we position women as only as recipient of our support or the support we provide, we miss something very important. We miss the fact that they're already experimenting, they're already innovating, they're already leading in ways that we offer that are very, very practical, they are localized and highly effective. And that's really where the Earth Day connects back to this conversation. It's not just about protecting the planet in a general sense. It's about recognizing and strengthening the people who are already doing that work every single day on the land. And for us at Heifer, that means continuing to push ourselves and our partners to engage differently. To move beyond including women as just part of the process and instead ensuring that their voices, their experiences, and their priorities actually really shape the direction of the work. Because it is how we build the resilience that lasts, and not by introducing entirely new ideas, but by building on what is already working on the ground. And conversations like this are just important part of all that. This creates a space for us to listen and to connect better with the global conversations like Earth Day to really experience from the farm. I will stop here today because I think the most important perspectives today are the ones that we are about to hear directly from the women themselves. Thank you for joining us, and I'm really looking forward to the discussions today. Thank you very much. Over to you, Kachi.
Thank you very much for those insightful words. Indeed, if women are already at the center of how our farms adapt and respond, then they should also be at the center of how we design solutions, how we invest, and how we make decisions. We also see the need to create more spaces where we not only listen, but also act. That is why the next video is an important reminder of the role women farmers play in building resilient food systems across Africa. Please enjoy this video.
This is not a report. Video is turned on.
That was a powerful video. It reminds us that behind every harvest, every innovation, and every resilient community, there is a story. And today, we are here to listen. We will now hear from the women farmers, partners, and innovators driving resilience across our food systems. Let me introduce them in no particular order before we get started. We have on the panel today Sarah Msambira, a farmer and one of Malawi's leading horticulturists with extensive experience growing and marketing fresh vegetables. She currently serves as Director of Agriculture and Enterprise Estates at Small Farm Cities, supporting smallholder farmers to grow high-value crops, access financing, and secure markets. Also, we have Sylvia Namukose, a farmer and cooperative leader from Uganda, who has grown from subsistence farming to leading the Kimbale Youth Oil Seeds Producers Cooperative, supporting fellow farmers in her community. We have Magdalena William, a dairy farmer from Tanzania, with a strong scientific background, including a doctorate in plant science and seed pathology. She now applies her research expertise to farming, building a growing dairy and seed enterprise. On the panel as well, we have Mahinda Solomon, who is the founder and CEO of Energetic Eco Cha Manufacturing in Ethiopia. Mahinda is also an IYOWF award-winning innovator. Her work focuses on converting biomass into biochar to restore soil health and improve agricultural productivity. We have on the panel as well Teresa Farley, Chief of Staff at Ignitia, a climate technology company delivering highly localized weather forecasts to smallholder farmers across sub-Saharan Africa. She leads strategic initiatives and partnerships to scale climate-smart solutions with a strong focus on ensuring women farmers can access and use critical weather information to make better decisions for their farms. Last but not the least on the panel, we have Harriet Mutoni, who is the program manager at Heifer International, Rwanda. With nearly a decade of experience designing and leading inclusive agricultural and livestock development programs that support smallholder farmers. We are truly honored to have you all with us on the panel today. We'll now move to our panel discussion, and I'll begin with our questions, our first round of questions, and I kindly ask all panelists to keep responses to about 2 minutes so we can hear from everyone. Remember that we want to hear every voice. I'll proceed with Sarah Msambira, who is an agriculturist and innovator. Sarah, from your work as a farmer and agri-innovator, how can we better connect women farmers to climate-smart solutions that can help them grow?
Thank you very much, Kachi. My name is Sarah Nsambira, as already said. Really excited to be here and to share with the beautiful women in the room and everyone around. From Malawi, I'm a farmer, but also an agronomist. I work with small farm cities as a director of agriculture. So the question of how do we connect women farmers to climate smart solution that grows with it? I think first of all, it starts with understanding these women farmers, and that starts with understanding that means listening to them. I think there's a lot of climate smart solutions that are there, from soil fertility management, water conservation. I mean, how can we help the smallholder farmers work? But when you talk to these women, you realize to say they already are doing something. I'll give a very good example of what listening can do. We had recently a program that we're helping smallholder farmers to help them increase their productivity using soil fertility management. And for us, we're thinking the first thing, let's use animal manure. But listening to them, we realize to say they don't have the animals. and it's so expensive for them to buy. And from them, we realized to say they have a lot of waste that we can do composting, that we can also substitute. Instead of using animal manure, we use compost. So by listening, we're able now to have them embrace the new technology. And up to now, they're able to apply it. So that means listening really helps a lot for them to really take up a climate smart solution. The other one, as a woman farmer myself, there's a lot of limited access to loans. I mean, for us, some of the climate smart solution, they really need you to have technical know-how, but also money. If I'm to go to get a loan today from a bank, if a man and a woman goes together, a man will get it because they believe I'm not capable. But if we are able to equip the smallholder farmers, including myself, with the skills that we need, the financial literacy to understand how a business works, you'll be able to speak and to your business and able to convince this bank or people that are coming in to give loans. So really giving access to these women farmers, including myself, I would say, with the skills that you need to really understand the financial side. The other one that is really big, I would say, is connecting climate smart solution to productivity and income. As a woman farmer, I'm an agribusiness person. At the end of the day, I want to make money. So at the end of the business, if you're just talking about climate smart solution in terms of climate change is one thing, but connecting it now to the productivity and income makes a difference, because if your business is growing, you're able to use climate smart solution, and that is helping you to increase your productivity and income. Then it brings a value to the climate smart solution, not just on one end. A very good example is right now on our farm, we are using agroforestry, and we're growing trees that we're able to use as a pest and disease management. And part of that, we're now selling neem leaves. We're now selling to other smallholder farmers. That means we're making money, but also on our land, we have the trees. That means it's helping us as well with the soil regenerative, but also if you have trees, I mean, then climate changes will come, but we'll be safe on the side. So those are some of the things that we can use. And the other one I love to share with all the women in the communities that I'm in right now is also trust. I mean, trainings, when we do practical trainings, they're able to see people uptake the climate smart solutions. You are able more likely as a woman to go and adopt something that you've seen someone do it and is working. So sometimes we leave our trust. We always on the go to say, let's take up the technologies. But if we implement the technologies in the community and the people that we trust as women are also taking up those technologies, it's easy for adoption. So connecting women to climate smart solution is pretty much understanding where they are, as we're saying, listening to them, training them, giving them loan access. And also we're talking about land issues. A lot of us women, we're not really owners of land. So if the land is not mine, I'm really likely I'll not be able to do a lot of things on it. But if I know that the land is mine, I'm going to grow more trees. I'm going to help make sure that the soil fertility part of it, I'm planting, I'm doing composting, I'm investing in irrigation system because the land is mine. So as women,
Thank
I
you
think
so much.
that's the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I see the enthusiasm there. We appreciate that beautiful answer. So now I'll go to Namukose Sylvia from Uganda. Sylvia, you've grown from subsistence farming to leading a cooperative and expanding your farm, which is an inspiring journey. How have you seen the women in your cooperative care for the land? You know, how have they built resilience and stayed strong, even with some of the limited support that Sarah talked about?
Okay, thank you, madam. I am Sylvia Namukose from Eastern Uganda, Chairperson Chibale Namutumba Young Oil Seeds Multipurpose Cooperative Society Limited, leading 700 participants. Out of that 700, 450 are women and 250 are men. I've seen my women in my cooperative very active through agriculture after being taught what we call good agronomic practices, because they know what they grow, they know what we call site selection, land preparation, they know what we call cost benefit analysis, record keeping, because they go in the garden while the good site where to plant groundnuts and soybean. Instead of those who don't know, they just plant anyhow. Really, you can find someone planting groundnuts in the swamp, which is not good. Women in my area, they also know how to plant in rows, so that during the time of weeding, it is very easier and the plantation can grow faster since it is planted in good steps. They also know what we call cost benefit analysis. They first sit down and know how much am I putting in and how much am I going to get. After they make records. After making the records, they go to the garden. From there, from the garden from the garden, they come down and note what they have invested. Then they know what we call cost benefit, they know what we call post harvest handling. This cost harvest handling helps my women. How? Because during the time of selling the produce, the market can be high because the harvest is good because it was handled very, very good. Another thing I can talk about is all about the savings. They know savings. So there, I can assure you that ladies in my cooperative, they are very, very active. They are hardworking ladies because they have what they call group work. They work together. They use the small land, and most of them also, they have the backyard gardens, whereby a problem can't defeat them for 10,000. They know what to use. They grow vegetables like eggplants, tomatoes, what. So I assure you that my ladies, they are very, 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 very promising. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. I love the way you connected how they are caring for the land, how they are building resilience with savings, how they are staying strong as groups, even with limited support, how they are forming a community where they are leveraging on their group strength to build this resilience and care for the land. Thank you so much, Sylvia, for the work you're doing, and to all the women farmers that are doing and caring for the earth. Well done to you all. I'll now move on to Magdalena William. Magdalena, you've worked in research and now you're in farming with a very strong scientific background, as we have seen. What does your experience show about why it is important to listen to women, not just as farmers at this time, but as experts, as drawing from your experience?
Okay, thank you, Madam Kachi. Having worked in research and now as a farmer, my perspective has changed in a very fundamental way. Science gives us explanations, but farming tests reality. What I have learned is that farmers are not just implementers of knowledge, they are knowledge producers. First, farmers operate in highly complex, variable environments. Unlike controlled research conditions, they deal with unpredictable weather, soil variability, and the market uncertainty. Through this, they develop deep context-specific expertise that is often invisible in formal science, but critical for success. Second, I have seen that adoption is not about how scientifically correct a solution is, but how relevant it is to farmers' realities. When we fail to listen to farmers as experts, we design interventions that look good on paper, but fail in practice. Third, farmers are constantly experimenting, testing varieties, adjusting planting dates, and managing risks. In many cases, what we call innovation in research is already happening informally in farm level. The difference is that farmers may not publish it, but they practice it. So the real shift for me has been this. It is not enough to bring science to farmers. We must also bring farmers into science. Why? Because when farmers are treated as experts, one, research becomes more practical, solutions becomes more adoptable, and the impact becomes more sustainable. In simple terms, the best outcomes don't come from choosing between scientific knowledge and the farmer's knowledge. They come from combining both as equal partners. For example, during my field work in the Lake Zone regions, we introduced improved bean varieties with strong scientific backing, potential high yield, and the disease tolerance. On paper, they were excellent, but some farmers were hesitant to adopt it. When we took time to listen, farmers explained that the varieties did not cook fast. They require more firewood, and they were less preferred in local markets compared to traditional varieties. So from a scientific perspective, we are focusing on yield. From the farmer's perspective, they are optimizing for cost, taste, and the market demand. That conversation completely changed our approach. We began integrating farmers' preferences into selection criteria, not just agronomic performance. Then transition back to your closing, that experience reinforced one thing for me. The future of agriculture will not be built by science alone, but by science that truly listens. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Magdalena. I wrote some quotes down. I can't take it all right now, but the key message from you is that farmers are experts. They plan for everything. They optimize both costs as business people. Let's listen to them. That's the future. The future is to listen. Not just the future. Now we have to start now to listen to farmers because they are experts. They know it. They know it. Let's build on their intelligence. So I'll quickly go to Mahinda Solomon, and quickly, please let's try to keep it very short. Mahinda, your innovation turns invasive biomass into biochar to improve soil health. From your experience, how can solutions like these better support women farmers to restore their land and increase their yields? Mahinda?
Okay, thank you. As you said, my name is Mahadar Salomon, a founder and CEO of Energetic Eco-Char Manufacturing PLC and IoT innovator from Ethiopia. And thanks so much for the question. At Energetic Eco-Char, we see land restoration not just as a technical challenge, but as a way to return the power to hundreds of those who work the soil, and mostly our women farmers. In Ethiopia, many women miners that have been depleted of the years of intensive use of being overtaken by invasive species like Prosopis juliflora. This biomass is often seen as a major challenges, but shows our technology. We turn this Prosopis juliflora into enhanced biochar, or we have this as like a sponge. It holds on to water and nutrient into the soil, which is critical as our season become more unpredictable. This means her crops can survive dry spells that would have otherwise led to a failure. Secondly, it reduces the need of expensive chemical fertilizers. So by improving the soil natural fertility, we turn this lower her production cost and increasing her profit margin. But most importantly, it is about accessibility. We focus on making this technology easy to use and also integrating into existing farming practice. When a woman restores her land with a voucher, she is not just increasing her yield for one season. She is building permanent assets. She is ensuring that her land remains productive for her children and also for the next generation. In our experience, show that when women are given to a tool to heal their lands, they don't just grow more food, they grow more resilient community. By turning this problem invasive species into a solution, we are helping women farmers lead to the way climate smart agriculture. And thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. I love something you said, accessibility. We shouldn't,
Yes.
technology should not disenfranchise women farmers, but it should enable them as a catalyst to supporting them. So I love that. Easy to use. Thank you so much, Mahinda, for the work you're doing
Okay.
as an innovator. I'll move over to Teresa, uh, who is the Chief of Staff from Ignitia. Teresa, from your work with climate and weather services, how can better weather and climate information help women farmers make smarter decisions for their farms? Teresa?
Thanks for the intro, Kachi, and the Heifer team for inviting me today. And also thank you for the previous speakers for all the great points that you've been making. I want to start by generally giving an overview of like how better weather information generally helps turn uncertainty into better decisions, and then focus a bit more on how we can empower women to do that better. So generally, knowing when to plant will enable you to avoid a false start of the season and just set yourself up for a better season overall. You'll know better on when to apply fertilizer, to not like spray under wind, to avoid like waste of inputs. You'll know better when to harvest or dry to reduce post-harvest losses, which I think Sylvia was also talking about. And also generally, you'll know better when to prepare for weather to protect crops and income overall. So it's about making better timed decision for activities in farming. Now, women farmers face this high uncertainty from changing rainfall, changing seasons, but also more adversity from additional constraints on like less access to phones and maybe relying on their families, children, husbands, to even receive information, less access to inputs, to money to obtain inputs, higher levels of illiteracy, making the information harder to use and to interpret. So what Sarah was saying is really important to also listen what the biggest constraints and problems here are. In innovation or tech, we usually call that something like human-centered design, but you could also call it, like Magdalena was saying, like inserting the farmer in the science, right? And it basically means that you decenter the solution and you center the user, because you can have the best science and the best solution in the world, but it is not worth anything if women or farmers in general don't know how to leverage it. So back to Madalena's point of science will not solve the problem alone. We need to also put the farmer in the center of it. A good example of that in weather forecasting is like, what is worse, missing a forecast or giving a false alarm? Like, what will be the worst impact of giving that information? Because in weather forecasting, we try to be as accurate as possible, but you never have 100% certainty. So we can either optimize for scientific accuracy, or we can optimize for what's useful on the field. And that might not be the same thing, because maybe 2 millimeters of rain is like relevant from a scientific perspective, but it's actually not relevant for planting. And so that means that decisions are not just about what is best, but also what is possible with the constraints that I'm working in, and for women specifically, with the limited resources that they have, to ensure that it is accessible, so that we don't only use SMS, but also voice, that it is in local languages, that it comes at the time when women have access to phones. So those are all important variables that we try to consider in this human-centered design approach. And then generally hope that better decisions for women specifically not only translate into higher yields, but also higher resilience, independence, and really establishing women as the center of like informing how solutions should look like in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Teresa. I love the way you connected everything, really. And the fact that what you're doing is helping to address uncertainties that will enable us, our women farmers, take better timed decisions. And that what may be scientifically correct or makes sense scientifically may not resonate with what is needed in the field. So we should talk about it in terms of what is the need. We should listen more to those women and see how to learn from them. So that makes me ask my audience, are you listening? Are you learning? Are you taking your pen, your papers? Are you writing? Because I'm learning a whole lot from this, my wonderful women panel. So I'll move on to Harriet right now, who is program manager for Heifer International in Rwanda. Harriet, through Heifer's program, you have worked closely with communities navigating increasingly difficult farming conditions. What kinds of support are actually making a difference for women farmers? And where do you see critical gaps that we need to really address? Harriet?
Thank you so much, Kachi, and thank you so much to the greatest women who are on board that have spoken my mind out. Thank you so much, ladies. And I am Harriet Mutoni from Rwanda. And speaking on today, I'm so much honored to speak from experience of working alongside the women farmers who are not actually feeding the families, but leading resilience. So from the experience and what we're seeing from Rwanda, the support which is making a difference in the disbursement is the support which is connected. And you've heard this from the women. Support which is connected, practical, and designed around the real lives of the women farmers. So we don't need intervention as women farmers. They don't need intervention which is isolated. They rather need an ecosystem. This ecosystem which can help them to produce more, to adopt more, to earn, and more on that to lead in this agriculture space. So talking about that, we have many interventions which are making a real difference, but we are seeing access to market bringing up more difference or real difference on board. So if we can connect the women farmers to reliable buyers, to cooperatives. You heard from Sylvia what she was explaining, bringing these farmers to real cooperatives, aggregation system which can accommodate them. We can make agriculture a business, but not just as a survival activity. So connecting these farmers to market is making real difference. And access to finance comes next. We have seen these women, as they spoke, their minds out. Madeleine explained it very well. They know what they want, but do they have the capital on board to do that? Can they access the credit? We already say there is a package. And if it's there, is it designed to meet the realities? This is agriculture we're talking about. Seasonality matters. Cycles matters. Are we putting in considerations as the program people, whoever who is on board here, people who are supporting and facilitating women farmers? And now speaking from what she also mentioned regarding the science, the technology. When we are talking about technology and climate smart, it's really opening new opportunities. But how are we so much intentional that we are supporting these women to get this technology, to embrace it and to use it? Because we don't just want to say that the technology is there. For example, if I can speak from a real example here, we've been always talking about farmers. They don't have, what is happening around the world. Price increment alongside the animal feed. And today, we realize that farmers, the women farmers can keep small stock, but still animal feed becomes an issue. And in one of the programs, we introduced a technology on black soldier fly farming. And whoever who doesn't know the black soldier fly, please just Google on it. It's a very good protein ingredient which can be used in animal feed. So for that, it is an animal feed support. But again, it comes as a climate smart because we are using the market waste to grow the larva which can becomes a pupa, and that pupa can be fed to the animal. So we are cleaning up. Women are actually making environment, cleaning up the environment, caring for the environment. And again, the residues after harvesting the black soldier flies to be fed, to feed their animals, they still use those residues as manure into their farms. So they are using one stone, not only to kill two birds, but more, because we are caring for the climate, for the environment, coming back, feeding the animal, going back to the farms to again get more produce. That is the only way to help farmers. They will have to produce, they will have to earn, they will have to adapt, and they will have to lead in this specimen if you want to talk about this. So do we still have gaps? Yes, a lot. As you heard from them, still market is not, it's still, it's not unified. You find that there is market, but still it's not helping the farmers. Credit, you heard about them, it's still very expensive. And when we talk about the loan or credit, they will ask them for for a collateral, and collateral which most of the women don't control. They don't have control over that. And the technology, sometimes it is coming, but it's coming very late. Is the market inclusive enough to include the women farmers? Or we are talking about them just to support, but not in the real life? So we have to build everything around that to know that we are supporting them. So we don't need tools, we don't need training, we don't need loans alone, but we need an environment, a system which can connect market, eco-finance, technology, and then also most of that, the voices of farmers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Harriet. I love your passion. I love the work you're doing. I love all the things you said, and they are real. We have heard from the women, and they echoed it as well. Women want interventions that are designed around their real lives, not apps, things that address the ecosystem. So we should think access to market, access to finance, seasonality in designing some of these interventions, considerations that we need to look at, and how reliable are these markets that we are connecting the women to? Are they speaking to guaranteed fair prices? Does it make sense? Is it making sense to our women farmers? Are they getting the best deals out of this? So these are some of the things that Harriet has told us, and we really appreciate the insight you have brought. So we now move on to, our next round of questions. Please, I'll go back to Sarah, and I'll ask, Sarah, what would success look like for women farmers in the next few years if we get these things right? If we get it right from now, what will success look like, Sarah?
Thank you very much. I think a lot has been said of what we can do to get it right. And I think if we get it right from the video even that you shared, I think the first thing would be food security. Coming from, I grew up on a family farm and I know the importance of food. And as a woman, as part of the household, you want to make sure that you have food for the kids, for the community and the country. So food security would be one of the first things at a household level, at a community level, and also at a country level. So if we get it right with the women farmers already, with the problems that we have, we are able to produce. Imagine in the next 5 years, we have the inputs, we have the trainings, we have the markets there. We are able to adapt to the climate smart solutions that are there, I think, and use technology. For sure, we'll have food security. The other one I'll talk about, coming from a woman farmer as well, will be business owners, not just in a way that you do a business and you break even. I'm talking about a business where when you calculate your math, you know that there's a profit and you're able to have value and improve in terms of your lifestyle. So in this case, you are investing in assets, you're getting land. It's entrepreneurship. So we're agribusiness owners, not just women farmers. As farmers, we know in Africa, especially in Malawi, farmer is someone that grows just for the house and to eat and maybe an extra that you can sell. But I'm looking at business owners that we are able to supply to formal markets, to informal markets, and even to sell around Africa as women, if we get it right. The other one will be advocates of climate smart solution. As I said, trust is really important. If we get it right in the next 5 years, if another woman sees me doing so well and agroforestry is working, the technology is working, as she shared about information, if I'm accessing information, it's working. Obviously, other women will also take from there because it's easier to adopt a technology if you see the next person doing it and it's working for them. The other one we're looking at in the next 5 years, we're women that are able to stand up in leadership and also recognition. I'll give a very good example of the IYOWF challenge that I was part of through Heifer Malawi. I mean, these are what we need in the next 5 years, where to have more women in it. I was the only finalist, but I'm looking 5 years, looking at women farmers we have 10 finalists that are women that are also part of the program. So we are looking at 5 years where we get recognition in leadership in terms of farming, in terms of the climate smart solution. And the last one that I will share, we are looking at women who are trainers. We are not just people that are being trained, but we are people that will train more people coming up. We talked about lack of access. We are now even modifying the technologies that are there. We are not just sitting down with the technologies that we'll make in the next 5 years, but we're finding ways, how can we even make it better? As the world is going to change, how can we even move ahead of that? So we're ahead in terms of our game to say we're not just where we are not settled in the next 5 years, but we have the confidence. We know that we have the capability to speak up, and we know how we can get it right. So I would say that, just to say the importance of, at the end, just to share also the importance of giving the women platform is really important, because that's where you meet all the other women that are doing great. You learn from them and you're able from there to move. So a big thank you to Heifer Malawi, I would say specifically, for even connecting through the IYOWF, and more of those opportunities coming to other women Africans in the next 5 years as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I like that you put a definite time to it. You said 5 years. I said few years, but you gave us a timeline to work with. And I believe that as we begin to change from today, we will see these things begin to happen. So I'll go to Sylvia from Uganda. Sylvia, what keeps you going even in difficult farming seasons? Just very shortly, because we need to get everyone to talk. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. What keeps me going even in difficult season is, first of all, family responsibilities. I have a family whereby I have to take care for them. I have 2 children and they always go to school. So if I just sit, no one can support my family. So that can make me go even in difficulty season. Another point is all about the working in a group. If you work in a group, you will still inquire other knowledge from different groups where you have gone to work. So from there, you come back and work to make sure that you work like the one who you have visited. Another point is all about spirituality. I have a belief in me that I have to make it. So if I have to believe, even the condition is hard, like we can experience a condition like sunshine, pests and diseases. We can have a problem of market. there I can't just give up, because giving up is not a solution. So I have to continue working hard to see that I go through that condition. I have also a point of a point of leadership. I'm a leader in my cooperative. I'm the chairperson of the cooperative. So they should look at me as a leader. The way I'm working, they have to copy from me. If I just sit, they will also continue sitting because I'm seated. Why can't they work while I'm sitting? So I have to show them that they should work hard. Another point is all about the loan I get from the banker, because you can't sit while the loan is not sitting. For them, you don't explain to them that I have been sitting. If the time is over, please, you have to pay back their money. Whereby there is no way you can sit while they are going to demand you. So there, I have to work hard even in difficulty season. Another thing is all about the dream I have. My dream is to see that I change from primary to upper level, because if I have like a heifer now, I have to make sure that I get my oxen. Being that our area here in Uganda, we use oxen to plow, so I have to work hard to see that I meet my dream, that I get my two oxen plus the plowing machine plus the operator. My dream is that I get someone to operate, or I get someone so that I can employ someone. I have to be a boss. So that point can't make it. It just makes me to work even difficulty seasons.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. Sylvia, you are on fire. You're on fire. You know, I love what you're saying, because this is the reality of every woman farmer. We want to be the boss. We don't want to be, we want to own this business. We want to run it. We want to be the one, who runs it, because we are responsible to our families. We have responsibilities in our families, and the fact that we are in a group, it motivates us. I love everything you're saying. And I know that every women farmer is connecting with you, and that those that need to learn from this are learning. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Thank you so much. So I'll go quickly to Madalena. Please, let's keep it as short as simple, from Tanzania. Thank you so much. Madalena, what is one thing from your journey that you think more women farmers should know or learn? One thing, or maybe one or two, right? As succinct as you can. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. One thing I wish more people understand is that women who farm are not just contributors, they are central decision makers in agriculture, even when the system does not recognize them that way. In my field experience, especially working with farmer groups, I have seen women making critical decisions every day. For example, selecting seed varieties, managing planting calendars, deciding what to store, what to sell, and how to feed the household. In many cases, they are also the ones adapting first to climate variability, because they manage both production and the family food security. For example, during farmer trainings, I noticed that women were very quick to adopt and adapt practices like changing planting dates or selecting early maturing varieties, not because they were told to do, but because they are constantly managing risk at household level. Yet, despite this, many programs still engage them as if they are just labor providers, not strategic thinkers. That's where we lose a lot of value. Then close with a strong, memorable line. If we design agriculture without fully recognizing women as experts, we are ignoring the very people who are already holding resilience together at the farm level. Thank you.
Wow. That looks like a call to action or a closing remark already. Thank you so much, Magdalena, because you said something. Women, they are the ones that, they are the first innovators. They take initiative. They're the first responders. making sure that, they build resilience from the decisions they make. And thank you so much, because now we are seeing that there are critical decision makers that we should not sideline at all. Thank you for that. So we go quickly to Mahinda from Ethiopia, a youth innovator. From your experience, Mahinda, what is one thing that needs to change so more women farmers can use solutions like yours? What needs to change so that more women farmers can use solutions like yours on their land?
Okay, thank you. If I had to point to one critical change to truly move the needle, it would be bridging the gap between high-level innovation and the daily reality of a woman farmers. We already have incredible technology like a biochar. They can fundamentally transform soil healthy and agricultural productivity. However, for many women, the barrier is not just a technology itself, as I said earlier, it is the access to scale this solution. We must move away from one size fits all models and instead build localized, gender responsive system that reflect how women actually manage their land. This begins with a fundamental shift in financial inclusions. Since many of the women lack traditional collateral for a bank loans, we must champion pay as you grow models or a community-based credits. This enables them to invest in a soil future without risking the family immediate food security. Alongside this, we must prioritize direct knowledge transfer because extension service often overlook women. We should train women be a voucher ambassador within their own cooperatives. There's no greater motivation than a woman seeing her neighbor cooking devils through a new practice. Finally, we must advocate for a policy and recognize soil restorations at a public good. We, a woman farmer, sequester carbon through a voucher. She's not attending her fields, she is providing a vital global service there deserve formal supports. So at Energetic Ecochar, we believe innovation is not as powerful as it is accessibility. This is why we drive community awareness to ensure the entire ecosystem involved alongside with our technology. We must shift our mindset. The woman farmer is not beneficiary of a climate solution, but the lead architect of a sustainable food future. So by empowering her, we need more fix the soil. We do more fix the soil. We secure Africa food system for a generation to come. So this is my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mahinda. I like the way you emphasize accessibility and, putting women at the center and not at the side, not at the back, but at the center, driving that change because they produce up to 80% of the food that we are eating. So I'll quickly go now to Teresa. Teresa, what gives you confidence that women farmers can better adapt to climate challenges in the years ahead? What gives you confidence that we are going to make progress?
Yeah, thanks, Kachi. So first, I think I want to just highlight there is so much existing resilience and knowledge that we are building on. Women in agriculture are very resourceful. They have always found ways to survive with what they have. So it's also about imagining what they can do when we give them better tools and better access to what they need and capital. So women already have very deep practical knowledge of their land, of what they are doing, and they are continuously adapting even without formal support. But even better if tools are starting to reach them to help with that. So we are seeing an increase in more accessible weather and climate services. There's
All right. So
apologies. Am I audible? Can I hear me back? Okay.
yes, we can hear you again.
Close my point that I think the key gaps are in giving women more direct access to information. And then what I mentioned earlier, designing the solution with users in mind. But with this, I have confidence with the existing capacity and increasing access that women will thrive and be very able to adapt to climate challenges.
Thank you so much, Teresa. That was beautiful. We had a little glitch, but I believe we got the message. So over to you, Harriet. From your experience working with women, if you could change one thing to better support women farmers, what would it be?
Thank you so much, Kachi. If I could change one thing to support women farmers more, I would change the way we design the support system so that these farmers, they receive the service as economic actors and decision makers. Why am I saying so? Because sometimes we design the support systems, but it comes in a fragmented way. You find that we are giving trainings, maybe no market, or the market is not inclusive enough. We are giving, a farmer gets a loan opportunity, but still there is no the technology which is appropriate for that. So we don't want a fragmented way. We want to have an integrated pathway. That's the thing we could change. Thank you.
Aptly put, an integrated approach. That is not just one thing or fragmented, but it is interconnected and making sure that we lay out the services that will take us to where the women wish to go. What's their vision? So quickly, thank you so much, great women. I want to appreciate all that we are learning from you today. So just one final round of question, and it's just one word. I want you to keep it into less than a minute, as much as you can. But before we close and get questions from the audience, because they want to learn from you and hear from you, I would like to ask all our panelists one final question across board. In one word, what does a climate resilient future led by women farmers look like? A climate resilient future led by women farmers. What does it look like in one word? So I'll start with Harriet now, quickly.
Yes. Thank you so much. I see it inclusive because if we include women, and then we are not strengthening the resilience at only household level, but in the entire ecosystem. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Teresa, over.
I think informed and decisive,
Wow.
involving all the information that people can get, but yeah.
Beautiful, informed, decisive. Mahinda?
I'd like to say productive.
Beautiful, productive. Magdalena?
Yeah. When women farmers lead, they don't just adapt to climate change, they reshape the systems from production and the food security to markets and the community resilience. Thank you.
Reshaped.
Yes.
Beautiful. Sylvia?
Reshape.
Okay, thank you. Strength and hope, because you have to persist and you have to know what you want in the future.
Hope. Beautiful. Sarah?
I would say contextual. As women, we know what we're doing and we do it based on what works in our environment and what works best for everyone in the community.
Awesome. In fact, a round of applause to our women. I love what you've said. I love the way you put it in one word. That's so beautiful. Thank you to all our panelists for such a rich discussion. Would now love to hear from our audience. If you have any questions, please share them in the chat and we'll take as many as time allows. So if you have any questions, please drop them right now in the chat and we will take as many as time allows. So as we are taking the questions and waiting for the questions, we know that we have learned a lot today. We have seen all that is happening and how we can reshape, what is happening. So I have on the question and answers from an attendee. How do you do animal waste management? Who is helping us with that question? How do you do animal waste management? To any of our panelists. And then someone is thanking us. Sylvia, can you help us take that?
Okay, thank you. You've asked that how do we do with animal waste management?
Yes, please.
Me, being that I'm dealing with agriculture, that animal waste, I take that animal waste in the garden. I use it like a manure, organic manure. Those poultry litters, they are used in the garden as organic manure. Is it okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sylvia. I love what you just said. So it's like a circular economy. Someone, Ali Safeno, is thanking us for an inspiring webinar highlighting the vital role of women in sustainable land management. And food systems, and that he's also appreciating the powerful stories that truly reflect how women are central to climate resilience and agriculture transformation. So that was just a thank you to the panel and this conversation. So also, someone is asking, as a woman, was there ever a moment you felt like giving up? I think, and what motivated you to keep pushing? This is coming from Semash from Heifer, Ethiopia. So another person says great conversations. So, but as a woman, was there ever a time, that you felt giving up? So can we hear from, any of our panelists? Let's take two contributions. Siva, you want to go?
Yes. I said that you should not give up, because giving up is not the solution. You have to know what you want in the future. If you want to be slave of tomorrow, you have to persist. However, there is a time which it refuses, but you still also insist on it. And you go with the situation. Like me, we are on agriculture. You must find that the condition is now scorched or the drought is there. But you can't just sit because the drought is there. You look anywhere forward and you insist on it. You first look at the responsibilities you have. You look like those who get loans from different corners, so they can't sit with people's loan. the responsibility because they can send back the children for school fees. How can you sit while the school fees is there demanding?
Thank you. I had a little glitch and I apologize for that. So Mahinda, please, can you respond?
Okay, thank you. As a woman, are motivating us to put impacts and purpose and to make a difference and also to driving the innovative change and also in terms of increasing the personal development and also supporting the others. And the last thing that I mentioned is building strong relationship with creating a meaningful connection and sense of belongingness. This is the important.
Thank you so much, Mahinda. I'm having a lot of questions coming in. We'll take as many as we can. I just want someone, Eugene, is applauding all the speakers. Is thanking especially Teresa that he learned so much from her, as well as all the others. Thank you once again to our panelists. And then Frederick is saying that he wants to ask about something around access to finance, that it remains a major barrier for women. So what innovative financing models exist in each of your localities to help women invest in agricultural technologies? I will want 2 responses from the panelists. So Sarah, over to you. I see your hand up quickly.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a really good question because I think most of the times when we're talking, we talk about access to financing, but we're also talking about practical ways of how we can solve it. I'll give a very good example of what has worked for us at Small Farm Cities. So I really loved how Harriet put it all together. It's not just about the access of financing. What we've been doing at Small Farm Cities is we provide it in a sort of a combined solution. So we are giving them input financing, but at the end of the input financing, we're making sure that the market access is there. Because if they're able to sell at a very good price, then that means they'll be able to pay for the investment that they've made, and also they have extra for the community. Because sometimes if you give someone an input, I'll give a very good example of a technology, you're giving them drip systems, irrigation systems, but they don't really have the technical, the training of how they can use it and how to produce even better. They don't have the market. The middlemen are coming in and they're selling at a cheaper price. Then that means already they'll not be able to pay for the loan. So what has worked for us in our case through our Enterprise Estate program is we provide it as a way in a holistic solution where we provide them with trainings, the technical know-how, and then we help them with the input financing. In this case, we give them the fertilizers, the seeds, and at the end, we're now connecting them now to the formal market. And when they sell, they're now able to repay it back. And over the years, then they're able to own the produce to own, in this case, a technology, we may do irrigation system, they now own it. So that has worked really well for us because it's not just one part of the solution, but it's a combination of the solutions together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Harriet, over to you.
Thank you so much. And that was very much well put, Sarah. Thank you so much. I'll just add something. What we're seeing happening again is we have to go into productive alliances. So as Sarah put it, let's have other, that's why I was saying that it should be inclusive. We bring in other economic actors, market actors, so that if a farmer cannot avail ABCD today, someone else can contribute, and as he sells at that reliable buy with those reliable buyers, they can be able to pay back. So productive alliances can work, check-off systems can work, if we are talking about stable cooperatives where they have a hub and they can have check-off system, a farmer can get something on loan and then pays when the produce or the harvest have been sold there. And also going back to Sylvia, having strong cooperatives is helping. Informal loans are also happening at the community levels. So those are also happening, helping. That's what I wanted to add on what Sarah just mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Harriet and Sarah. You are really, really hitting the nail on the head. So I want to throw this question now. Is also from the question and answer. And this is strictly to Magdalena. Say, how can women farmers make their voices heard when decisions are being made about agriculture? We have talked a lot about a lot of things today. How will we position these women to make their voices heard? What do you think?
Thank you. Women voices can be heard if we work together and not to be afraid of what men or others will say. We just raise our voice in a good manner, then people will hear what we want to do. And if we practice, we really do it a good manner, then everything will be good and people will see and they say, oh, women are able to do. So we have to work together and raise our voice. Everything will go better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Magdalena. Sarah has an addition.
Yeah, I really agree with what Magdalena has said, but I'll also put it to say, I think we have also talked about different trainings that as women we go through. I think the other thing to talk about also is, let's talk about the mentorship side of us as women. I'll give a very good example of myself. I grew up here in Malawi, and for me, just to express myself was really hard coming into the farming system. I mean, I would have a very good idea, but to share it, it's always hard because you're thinking, what would people say? Are they really going to agree to it? So I think the other part, as part of the trainings that we do, the building capacity that we have to us as women, should also focus more on empowering us to speak up, share our ideas and our thoughts, because sometimes we're in a room, we have a good idea, but to share it is an issue. So I would say that's why even for us at Small Farm Cities, what we do, we also have a concept of mentorship, where the training is not just really about the farming side of it only, but we are also talking to them, how can you engage with different people at different levels as well. It can start even with our on-site training. We advise, even if it's a wrong or a good answer, speak about it, share about it, what is working for you, what is not working. And in that way, you start to build confidence slowly by slowly. So that is also another way to add to just what she has already explained.
Thank you so much. The power of mentorship, the power of having a collective voice. Two very beautiful ways that we can make our voices heard. Quickly, because of time, I want to go to Teresa right now. How can women farmers without smartphones? Teresa is chief of staff at Ignitia, and they rely a lot on technology, but she will have to tell us how women farmers without smartphones or internet can still benefit from weather information. Very, 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 very vital question.
Yeah, so we are, as a tech company and as a science company, our job is to take this like very complex weather forecasting model and put it in as simple words as possible and make it as accessible as possible, right? So the outcome might not actually look as technological as we operate in the background. So our core product is actually like 2 lines of text based on a keyword system. So it is very repetitive. So farmers, even with like illiteracy levels, can learn their phones, not only smartphones. And if like no phone or no network is accessible at all, we also try to work with ecosystem, right? That could be local partners, implementers on the ground that like receive information that they are passing on. It could be working with radio stations. There is a level of trade-off between accessibility and the specificity of the information. Like usually no one of the farmers that we work with receives the same information. So we also have to think about where is the trade-off in like usefulness information and not aggregating to like a too generic level, but also still reaching as many people as possible.
Thank you so much, Teresa. That was very, very good. So it means that whether information is accessible to women farmers that do not have smartphones, you have been able to design ways for the messaging to get to women farmers, even with the analog phones. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. So quickly, just the final question. I will ask the question and then Mahida will give her addition. What would need to change in the near future for women farmers to not just adopt innovations but lead them? And I think we've dwelt on that. But Mahinda, if you can, in addition to your contribution that you want to make, quickly respond to this question, that would be nice because of time.
Okay. Shortly, increasing smartphone access for a woman farmer scenario in Ethiopia requires an integrated strategy that access economically, educational, and infrastructure barriers through multi-stakeholder approach. This involves facility affordable via microfinance, loan, subsidy, cooperative, and so on. So it must be arranged through sustainable digital engagement for rural women. And thank you.
Thank you so much. So when we say that women should adopt these new technologies or climate smart technologies, we don't want them to just stop at that level. We want them to lead them. So what will need to happen for this to change, for women to lead these technologies? In one word, and I want Harriet, can you quickly just say something quickly because of time? What will need to change? Yes, their voices need to be heard. They need to, I think we've responded. Any other additions will be welcome at this point.
Okay, thank you so much, Kachi. I think Madeleine put it very right. The women should take part in the design because them having their voices only is not all, but let's have women take part because they know the realities. They know what they want. But sometimes we think and overthink for them and we assume things on their behalf. But if they take part and be part of the designers, be part of the organizers, be part of the, that support, then they can drive what we say that the innovation we want to happen in this space. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Harriet. Thank you to our panelists, our audience, everyone that has joined us today for sharing your time, your experiences, and your insights. Today's conversation has made one thing clear. Women farmers are at the heart of our food systems, and they are shaping the future, as Madalena also said. Their stories matter, their knowledge matters, their leadership matters. But listening, as we have done today, is not enough. We must invest in women farmers and the systems, as Harriet has constantly pointed out, that enable them to thrive. Because when we invest in women farmers, as the video also said, we invest in stronger food systems, stronger communities, and a more resilient future for our planet. As we close, we invite you to stay connected with us. Please follow us on social media at Heifer Africa. It's being displayed on the screen on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and Facebook. And do take a moment to scan the QR code on your screen to learn more about our campaign, our global campaign in this International Year of the Woman Farmer. She has a story to tell. Are you listening? Thank you once again for joining us, and we look forward to continuing this important conversation. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harriet. Thank you, Magdalena. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Mahinda. We love you all. Thank you so much for the work you're doing.